Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Grow Show. Now, I've got a fantastic guest for you today. Now, if you want to know anything about Instagram, this is the person to go to. Kimba Cooper, who runs Kimba Digital, knows Instagram inside and out. We talk about the platform, we talk about the future of it. We also talk about loads of stuff, including hula hooping. So let's get cracking with this fantastic interview with me and Kimba Cooper. Welcome everyone to The Grow Show. Now, today's guest on The Grow Show is Kimba Cooper. Now, Kimba runs Kimba Digital, which is a social media agency based in Bristol. However, her biggest love is Instagram, but just don't tell her fiance. Please don't tell him. So, when the platform first appeared, Kimba was straight in there with her hula hooping hobby. She quickly became a micro-influencer and gained an American hula hoop company, outselling other sponsors by 10x. Now, today, Kimba and her team help businesses to grow a targeted audience and generate sales on Instagram. She has her Insta Biz Week, which is a free 5-day challenge that's helped more than 600 businesses, and I think that figure's only gone up since we've actually spoke, and led to the launch of Instamind, a 4-week Instagram mastermind. What she doesn't know about Instagram and hula hooping isn't worth knowing. I'm so happy she's on my show. Kimba, how you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing awesome.
Good. So, for the people who have just tuned in, who's not sure about, what you're up to, tell us what you're up to on a day-to-day basis at the moment.
So, as you mentioned, I run Kimba Digital. We're a social media agency based in Bristol. And day-to-day is quite varied. So, although you may know me online focusing on Instagram mainly, I've also got Charlie here who does social media management for businesses as well, so we do a bit of everything. It's fun. We get to work with all sorts of different types of industries and businesses of all shapes and sizes, and you never know what you're going to be doing next.
Nice. So Instagram, what appealed to you on Instagram rather than somewhere like LinkedIn or Facebook? I suppose that's the obvious question to start off with.
Yeah, so when I first started out in business, we're a social media agency, so we do manage other platforms as well. But from a personal perspective, like you mentioned in the beginning in your intro, I am a semi-professional hula hooper, so I'll go out and I perform on stage, and I'm part of a fire troupe, and I do all these crazy things. And I was sponsored by a company in America.
Sorry, stop there. Fire.
Everyone always stops me there. Most people, when you think of hula hooping, you think of like a plastic ring, and that's it. But you can add wicks onto them and set those on fire. And you can also have LED hoops as well. And I do perform with other props as well, poi and staff and things like that. But yeah, I have performed with fire a few times.
Cool. Sorry, I interject.
That's all right. So I was sponsored by a company in America to promote their products. In exchange, I would get sent professional hula hoops. So it was in my best interest to sell as many as possible. And I did that through using Instagram mainly, with a bit of Facebook. I grew my Instagram account myself, and I used the platform to outsell all the other sponsors. Like you said, all the other sponsored people by 10 times. And even though I've not done anything for them for over a year, I think I've still got higher sales than anyone else, which is amazing.
Nice.
So I've obviously used it in my personal life. I've got 2 or 3 accounts myself. Every time I've got like a new hobby, I'm like, I'll start a new Instagram account, which, is insane because I haven't got enough to do running a business.
Of course.
And I also have been using that to help people and help to promote my own business. So it just made sense. It's the fastest growing platform at the moment. More and more businesses are going onto there. But people haven't got a clue because it's so different from Facebook, which everyone's used to. It's very, very different to Twitter and LinkedIn. It's the way that you use it and the way that you can get leads and sales from it is very, very different. So a lot of people may have tried it, but generally speaking, they don't get much out of it because they don't know all the bits and pieces you need to make the full package work. So that's kind of why I decided to focus on it.
Nice. And is that where Insta Biz Week came from?
Yeah, so interestingly, you may have seen on Instagram, a lot of people do photo challenges, so they'll say, like, for the next 30 days, these are the themes, post a different photo each day. So when I first started out the Insta Physique Challenge, that's what it was. It was a 5-day photo a day challenge for businesses on Instagram. And my first challenge, I had 121, I think, businesses take part, which was fantastic for me. I had no idea what to expect. I just kind of put it out there and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And I didn't try and monetize it. I was just trying to create a community, and I managed to sell a place on a workshop, but that wasn't the aim. But then in November, I decided to run it again last year, and followed a method that actually was going to monetize it. And I got, just before Christmas, I got just under 500 people in, and it's just grown and grown and grown until the one that I've just run, we had around 1,000 people. And then from that, I upsold anyone who was interested, who found it useful, to my course, which in the intro you said it was 4 weeks. It was 4 weeks, now 10 weeks.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's much longer, but it's been a fantastic learning curve for me, because going from running a social media agency to training people in the things that I know work for myself, and hoping that they work for other people to start with, and now realising that they really, really do. You know, some people come back and they say to me that their life has changed, that their confidence has increased, all of these things. Like, it's incredible. Wow.
So, pick up a couple of bits that you mentioned. I love the fact that you're teaching people what you did. You're not reading it from a book. You've done it. You've been there. You've done it. You've got the T-shirt. I love that point.
I don't have any marketing qualifications. Everything that I've done, I've taught myself. It's all tried and tested. It's all stuff that, you know, I've done for myself or I've done for other businesses.
Cool. Yeah. And the other thing is that, you know, and I was talking to someone about this earlier on today, you know, things evolve, you know, and depending on the offering and depending on kind of how many people you've got in a particular group or community, timeframes change as well. So I love the fact that you've changed the time frame to add more value, and I've heard so much positive testimonials and just comments from people who have taken your course that, you know, that straight away kind of means that, you know, if I've got anyone who needs Instagram training, straight to you. It's great because you've been there and you've done it. You've got the T-shirt. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's an interesting one with the length thing, because it started out at 4 weeks, and then I added in a break week because I realised people were getting overwhelmed. It's hard running a business and learning every day as well. So then I realised every time I run it, I want to improve it. And once people are in, they're in for life. So if they've taken part the first time, the second time they can take part again. More times you do training, the more you get out of it, I find. And also I'm adding more every time we run it. So yeah, it's the other thing is that Instagram is changing so much. I did a post the other day, I can't remember, I think it was like 10 or 12 things have changed in the last 6 months, and those were just the things I thought off the top of my head. Things are happening so quickly with Instagram, it's growing so quickly, all of the features are changing so quickly that even if you wanted it as your main platform and you've got it working for you and generating leads, things are changing so rapidly, it's kind of hard to keep on top of it. So one of the things I want to give to people who come on the course is the opportunity to keep on top of those things without having to do all the background work and testing it and see how it works. I do all that for them, and then I just tell them what to do and what to not bother with, basically.
Great. I love that. So let's delve into Instagram a little bit deeper now, and in terms of some of the common mistakes that people make on Instagram. You know, you could probably list a load of them, but let's keep it to the top 3 mistakes people make to start off with.
Oh, the top 3 mistakes.
Yeah,
that's a good question. Probably the worst thing is, and this isn't just an Instagram one, this is in marketing in general, is just talking about themselves and their business and not thinking about who it is that they're trying to attract.
Nice.
So it's such, like, when you start, if you're all excited and you want to talk about your business and you want to talk about all this stuff, but apart from your friends and family, nobody really cares about your business apart from you. You need to be talking about what it is that you're doing for other people, because think about when you're scrolling through Instagram or anywhere else, if the posts grab your attention and the post speaks to a problem that you have or something that you want or something that you need, you'll interact with it. But if it doesn't, then you're just going to scroll past. So you need to think about who it is that's reading your post.
Nice. So I suppose that's number 1.
Yeah.
That's a big number one, to be fair. That is a big number 1.
Another one is treating Instagram like any other platform. So, like simple things, like in Instagram, you only have one link that works, and that's the one in your bio. But most people will use Instagram and they'll put a link in their post. It's not clickable, so it's just a waste of space, basically. And in the same way, you know, they'll not use hashtags because they're not used to using hashtags. But hashtags are such a big part of how Instagram works. It's such a massive part of how Instagram users find new content. There's such a big part of how you find your ideal client. If you're not using them because you're not used to Instagram, then that's a massive mistake that you've made there. So just making sure you use it as its own separate platform, and don't think of it as an extension of Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn.
Love it. And we'll go back to hashtags in a second. And then number 3.
Oh, what would the third one be? I had one a second ago, and now all of a sudden my mind has gone blank. Okay, so not filling in your bio. It sounds really obvious, but so many businesses, I come across them, and I have no idea what they do. You go to their profile, they posted loads of stuff, but I have no clue what you do, what you sell, who you help, any of those things. And it's so simple. Just put something in there. You've got 150 characters, use them.
No, I am completely there, because you see it on not just Instagram, but you see it on Facebook and Twitter, and it's just one of those common things where you think, you know, if someone's found your posts, they like it, they want to find more information, and then you give them nothing. It's almost like shooting yourself in the foot. I just can't see it. But great tip. So there you top 3. Now, in terms of hashtags, and we can't not talk about hashtags on an Instagram kind of thing. Let's just break it down into simple ones. First of all, what are they? How many should do, and what should they be? Let's just cover everything in the next couple of minutes.
Okay,
if you can.
That's probably about 2 weeks in my mind.
True.
It's like to just cover in 3 simple steps. But
very true.
Are they? The analogy that I like to use, I like to use funny examples. So I'll tell you what they are, and then I'll give you a funny example.
Go on in.
That's the best way. So, in the most simplest way of describing them, a hashtag is just a way of searching for and organising posts. So if you were to put up a post of a banana, like a picture of a banana, and in the caption you put hashtag banana, by putting a hashtag before it, it makes it clickable. So if anyone then clicks on that hashtag, it just takes them to all of the other posts on Instagram that contain the hashtag banana. So it's a great way for users to find content that they're looking for, that they're interested in, and also to find other people in a similar community.
Ace. Yeah.
So that's what they are. How many should you use? You can use up to 30. And there's so many, in air quotes, social media gurus out there who will tell you use exactly this many, or use between this many and this many, because it'll extend your reach. And they're all trying to hack the algorithm, and it's all just a load of rubbish. I think you've got up to 30, use as many or as few as you want. As long as you're not using the same hashtags every time. Which is a really important thing, because Instagram doesn't like it, and it might show your posts to less people if you're using the same ones each time. Then it's fine, use as many as you want. But if you do use over 30, Instagram won't post your caption. So make sure you count them before you post them.
Cool. I must admit, to be fair, I think I read a report from Buffer last year that they said 11 or 12 was the ideal number, but that was based on them. And I like what you were saying about changing the hashtags around, because then obviously more people will see it, and that way you've actually got a much wider base you're covering if you are changing them, so you can spread that so much more. I like that.
Yeah, you really do need to change them, and you should think about changing the types of hashtags that you use depending on what you're posting, but also changing the size of hashtags you use, so not always using the same size of hashtags. And by that, what I mean is, if you type into Instagram a hashtag, it will tell you how many times that hashtag has been used.
Yes.
So don't always go for the big hashtags, because you're going to get lost in a sea of other posts. Don't always use tiny ones, because they're not being used very much. So try and use a mixture of big, medium and small hashtags.
Cool, love it. Another question that I ask quite a bit, and I'm just going to throw it straight to you, is the landscape versus square in terms of video and pictures, or do you go for portrait videos? I know on IGTV, and so for the people who don't know, IGTV is Instagram's TV, so the video, long form video thing, you can probably explain it more, and stories are obviously portrait. But what format should they use should they produce content in for Instagram? And does it depend on what they want to achieve?
Yeah, so it does depend on what you want to achieve. It's a tough one. It's quite controversial because a lot of people get really upset because they're creating landscape, horizontal videos for every other platform, and then they come to Instagram and stories are portrait, and Instagram TV is portrait, and your grid, they're square. So, people are like, I've put all my energy into creating these videos. So, I mean, your best bet really to cover all bases is to create square videos, which you can much easier convert into portrait or landscape. But also to just think about what the objective is, like, of the video that you're putting out there, and where the best place to share it is, and then put it in the right format for that. So, I do a lot of videos. I do live videos most days, and I tend to do them portrait because I know I want to share them on Instagram, and that works fine on the other platforms. But I did hear a rumour the other day that Instagram TV is considering you allowing landscape because of all the uproar. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens or not. One of my questions was going to be, what do you reckon the future is for Instagram? So that's an interesting one, because their USP was the portrait. That's when they set it up. They said it were portrait. Interesting. Well, I don't know. See, the thing is, people see it as Instagram's USP, but they stole it from Snapchat.
Yeah, true.
Like, it was Snapchat originally that did portrait, so I probably shouldn't throw words around like steal, but they
do you know what? If Snapchat or WhatsApp,
from Snapchat.
Tell you what, if any of those big boys will listen to my podcast, I'm chuffed. That's fine. I'll take that. Cool. Okay. That works. So fine. But what's the future for Instagram? Can you see it kind of growing? Because it is growing massively at the moment. How can you see it kind of going?
It's growing hugely. In the UK, it's massively. But I think because they're owned by Facebook, you can already see Facebook getting more and more influential over the Instagram platform. More and more things are changing to suit the way that Facebook works.
Yeah.
So you get more and more paid adverts are appearing, and I think the algorithm is changing faster and faster and faster. And I think that in the same way as Facebook, everyone says organic reach is dead. Eventually, Instagram is going to get to a point where people feel the same way, which is why the things that I teach are much more about being authentic, working with your audience, and doing things that won't be affected by the algorithm. That's the idea. But now is a really good time to jump in on Instagram before all of that happens, before you get penalised for not paying in the same way you do elsewhere.
Ace. And we can't leave it. Last little bit for Instagram. Stories. Do people need to bother about stories, or how often should they post on stories?
Stories is my favourite part of Instagram.
Do you know what? I knew you were going to say that. I absolutely knew you were going to say that. Just because most of the people who I say that question they say.
Sorry, say that again.
Most of the people who I speak to about stories love them as well. So yeah.
Well, I think it's a love or hate thing. Like, some people just don't understand them at all. I used to be a big Snapchat user, and so when stories came onto Instagram, I was like, brilliant. Like, I know this, I've got this down, and it's so much fun. There's so much functionality in there. And people are afraid when they come onto Instagram that they have to have the perfect feed, they have to have the perfect life, they have to have the perfect business, they have to use the perfect photos. But stories disappear in 24 hours. They are much more authentic. They give you an opportunity to show behind the scenes, and people don't expect them to be perfect. So it's a great place to test, to try things out, to showcase things that you couldn't normally because maybe the light's not perfect, or maybe maybe you're walking to the train station, you've had an idea, you want to share it, you couldn't really share that on your feed. But the other thing is, stories are at the top of the feed. They're the first thing you see when you come into the app. So even if people aren't clicking in to view your stories, they're still going to see your little profile picture at the top. It's reminding people that you're there. It is really, really, really important. I'm going to add another really in there. It is so important. It's really, really, really important to use stories in combination with your grid posts.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So we've just covered in the last 18 minutes, we've just only skimmed the top of Instagram. But is there anything else you want to kind of add at this stage? About Instagram? Yeah, about Instagram.
Yeah, so I think the thing is the best way to get started with Instagram if you're struggling is to just go and play. So it's not, in some ways it's much more intuitive than other platforms in that most things are clickable. So you can have a click around and play and see what happens. Whereas with other platforms, I think people feel like because they're used to it, they don't play about with them so much.
Yeah.
You're not very likely to break something on Instagram, so just give it a go. And the more you play with it, the easier it'll get. And the other thing is, if you see somebody doing something on Instagram, and you're like, wow, that was really cool. How did they do that? Ask them. It's a social platform. Ask people questions.
Simple as that. Love it. Now, if people wanted to find more information about yourself, Kimba Digital, have you got a group that people can join? And have you got social media? You must be all over social media. So let's throw some links out. How can people get in touch with you?
I've got a free group on Facebook called Get Leads from Instagram, which anybody can join, and it's just an opportunity for people to go in there and share things that they've learned and share their wins and share things they're confused about, and there's a really good community vibe in there. A lot of the people in there have taken part in my challenges before or take part in my paid program, so there's a lot of support, not just from me but from other people as well. And we are at Kimba Digital everywhere. Now, Kimba is spelled Kimba,
nice
not
one.
ER.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they hear Kimba, they just assume it's Kimber, but it's Kimba Digital, and we are that on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and on LinkedIn. I think we're Kimba Digital Marketing. But yeah, we're pretty much everywhere.
Ace, cool. And remember, if you are listening and you're not connected with Kimba, just get on it, follow her, and check out what she's doing. Check out when her next Insta Biz Week is. Join her group, and yeah, that's great. One last thing before we go, and this is not. I'm just going to throw at you because I'm going to start asking this for every guest on the show. So you're the first person to do this. Now, if you had unlimited money wasn't an option, unlimited time, what would you do?
This is a really tough one.
Yeah, and just to let you know, listeners, I did not brief her on this whatsoever. I'm not going to brief anybody about it.
I think you posted about this in your group the other day, didn't you?
I did, exactly, yeah.
And I specifically avoided answering it because I find it so difficult. Just because I'm not in some ways I'm really visionary. Like if you give me a specific area of my life, I'm really visionary.
Yeah.
But I think actually, from a personal perspective, I'd love to do a massive round the world trip.
Nice.
And take my fiance. That would be wicked. And with what I do, I could totally do that and take my laptop with me.
Of course you can.
And do it as I go.
Oh, imagine the content that you'd be able to get when you're doing that. It'd be brilliant.
So that's probably a really naff answer, but that's what
for someone who wasn't briefed on what the question was going to be, do you know what? I'm happy with that. Just to make sure people know where you are again, let's just repeat. How do you spell Kimba Digital? For the people who missed it before.
Kimba and then digital.
Cracking. Thank you so much for your time today. Please check Kimba out. Take care, everyone, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you so much, Kimba, for spending the time with us today on The Grow Show. Now, remember, folks, if you want to check her out, please do check out our group, check out her page on Facebook, check out her Instagram feed, and if you've got anything that you need in terms of other social media inquiries, check out Kimba Digital. Now, thanks a lot for listening today. If you've loved it, if you've hated it, please comment on your favourite podcast platform. Let us know what you think and leave us a quick review. And if you think it's going to give value to other people listening, please share it. Take care, my friends, and I'll see you all next time for the next edition of The Grow Show. Gary out.